You can order your copy of my 2021 NFL Draft Guide today. What you'll get is over 550 individual prospect scouting reports like you see here, a ton of information that'll help you keep track of who your favorite team drafts or even signs as a free agent. It's all here, over 650 full color pages in PDF form. You can order your copy at the following link, footballgameplan.com/2021 draft guide. Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, here with Football Game Plan Scouting, and you know what that means. The NFL Draft and CFL Draft for 2021 is rapidly approaching, and it's time to get into our prospect rankings for this year's draft class. And before we get started, let's take a look at what the grades that you'll see by the prospects actually mean. Devonta Smith out of Alabama graded out as our #1 prospect in the draft class at the split end position. He's got elite acceleration and speed. He's explosive within his stem and also in track into football. The 2021 Heisman Trophy winner shows that he can run exceptional routes while getting consistently good releases at the line of scrimmage, and both coaches and running backs alike will love the fact that he's a strong blocker on the perimeter in the run game. Austin Watkins out of UAB may surprise some at #2, but he's a legit baller. You want to talk about explosiveness, this dude has that in spades. He has confident hands, and it shows in how he's able to attack the ball in traffic with defenders draped around him. He's a chunk play waiting to happen. You're a quintessential deep threat at the position. I'm a big fan of Isaiah McCoy's game out of Kent State. He reminds me a lot of Antonio Bryant with how he attacks the football and how angry he plays the position. He's another one of these explosive type receivers that can consistently win at all levels of the field. At #4 is Josh Imorta-Bebe from Illinois. His game is very similar to that of Allen Robinson. He's strong with the ball in his hands and has that explosive release to put a defensive back on his heels, and he's looking to score every time he has the ball in his hands. And rounding out the top 5 is Ziami Brown out of North Carolina. He's a fluid wideout who brings good versatility to the table. He can easily play any one of the 4 receiver spots and excel. He's got outstanding body control, which helps his route running, and definitely plays bigger than his size. And he's another one that looks to score the ball every time he has it. Now here's a look at the rest of the top 10 and how I have it all shaking out. Both Josh Palmer and Dax Milne are as solid as they come. Milne has excellent hands, while Palmer does a great job of stacking and tracking out there on the perimeter. Not enough people are talking about Tim Jones of Southern Miss and Rico Bussey of Hawaii. Both guys have some serious bursts and quicks at the position. And Sage Surratt will be a red zone contested catch monster at the NFL level. I feel like that's all he did at Wake Forest. He can definitely win above the rim no matter where he is on the field. So can Jonathan Adams of Arkansas State. The former Red Wolf star was outstanding this year against Kansas State and the rest of the season for that matter. I like how he's able to navigate through zone coverage, consistently able to work himself open out there on the field. I also believe the game of Charleston's Mike Strachan is another one who needs to be discussed a lot more. He dominated his level of competition and has outstanding leaping ability. He's a 50-50 guy, above the rim type player all day long, and has excellent footwork for a guy who's listed at 6'5", 225 pounds. Let's take a look at the rest of the prospects from 11 through 20, and Shi Smith and Tylan Wallace have tremendous polish within their respective games. So does Dez Fitzpatrick out of Louisville. Warren Jackson of Colorado State and Nico Collins out of Michigan both opted out of the 2020 season, but NFL scouts know about their abilities and what they bring to the table. Collins is coming off a tremendous week of work at the Reese's Senior Bowl back in January, and I think Jalen Camp of Georgia Tech has more than enough skills to have some sort of impactful role on an NFL team as a rookie. And as we round out the list of split-end prospects, Damonte Coxey out of Memphis is a long, lengthy receiver who plays like he's 6'7" out there on the field. I'm a big fan of how he's able to consistently pluck the ball out of the air and is very physical in the blocking department. Moving on to the flankers, and at #1 is yet another Alabama wideout, Jalen Waddle. This dude is arguably the most explosive wide receiver in the 2021 draft class. He can create separation at any time he wants to because of his elite acceleration and re-acceleration. He's a game breaker with a legit chance to score on each and every play. At #2 is Jamar Chase out of LSU. I think many forgot how lethal this guy was in 2019. He's got a smooth style that is very similar to that of Stephon Diggs and has excellent hand-eye coordination. He's a great one-on-one player who can play all 4 receiver spots as well, in my opinion. Kadarius Toney graded out as my number 3 flanker in the class, and I compared his game to Antonio Brown because of how dangerous he is with the ball in his hands. He's both quick and elusive and is able to lose defenders in a phone booth, working himself open in the process. He's versatile enough to be used in the backfield and also in a return game. Here's a look at the rest of the top 10. Kawan Baker of South Alabama is being slept on in my opinion. He's very explosive and dynamic at the position. I think Dwayne Eskridge's explosiveness is well documented and is easily identifiable if you ever watched him play. I like the silky smooth game of both Tyler Vaughns of USC and Keon Dixon of Eastern Kentucky. Vaughns is a bendy athlete that can weave his way through defenders and work himself open. Wrapping up the flankers with prospects 11 through 18, and Adrian Hardy of Louisiana Tech was a highly productive prospect or receiver for the Bulldogs. He was their go-to guy, and his body control shows up in how he runs his routes, showing the ability to shift his weight left to right, freeing himself from a defensive back's coverage with ease. Moving right along to the slot receivers, and at number 1 is Tutu Atwell out of Louisville. He has the speed, quickness, and acceleration to get anywhere he wants to on a football field, and don't let his frame fool you. He's extremely tough at the catch point and is a threat to score from anywhere at any time. Jalen Darton of North Texas is another one who plays bigger than his listed size. He thoroughly dominated defenders every weekend. He's very comfortable in catching the ball away from his body at all levels of the field. And I called Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss the perfect third down back because he can legitimately do it all. He's an above average route runner. He's able to take carries from a traditional tailback standpoint and is very elusive both with and without the ball in his hands. He's a tremendous all-around player. So is Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn. He's got legit track speed, USA track speed, and is able to consistently catch the ball with his hands. I like the savvy he shows versus zone coverage, working himself open consistently and showing the ability and acceleration to track the ball very well deep down the field. Here is the rest of the top 10, and man, it's a really good class of slot receivers as you can see here. If Rondale Moore was able to stay healthy, he would have definitely graded higher on this list, but you hope that he's over that injury bug that plagued him all throughout his career with the Boilermakers. But you can't go wrong with any receiver on this list as they will immediately help upgrade your passing offense on the inside. Amon-Ra St. Brown of USC is a fantastic route runner. From his release to his setup to breaking off routes, it's all NFL level. He's a physically tough and gritty receiver who does a great job of reading coverages on the fly. I think he has a great understanding of zone defense and is a really good football player. Now the rest of the prospects from 11 through 20 features more guys that can also help out in the special teams department, like Jeremiah Haydell from Texas State and Austin Trammell out of Rice. They were strong returnmen in college. And Miles Fells of Navy is very interesting as he was a slot back mainly with the midshipmen and has the speed and explosiveness that you want, but he'll need some time to develop and round out his game to become a true slot receiver. And Noah Johnson was a stellar quarterback at both Alcorn State and South Florida, but has the type of athleticism that translates well to the receiver position where he worked out as back in January at the College Gridiron Showcase. Finally, we hit the inside receivers, and grading out at number 1 is Frank Darby of Arizona State. For a bigger receiver, I really like his body control. He's really able to gear up, snap off his routes with ease, and create separation for himself. You talk about bench routes, speed outs, slants, comebacks. There are some of the routes that he has mastered out there on the field. He had a good week of work at the recent Senior Bowl this past January. Now here's how I graded the top 10 prospects of the inside receivers. Trayvon Grimes out of Florida, I thought had a very good season, showing his potential as an above the rim guy and red zone threat as a pro player. Racey McMath out of LSU and Eric Kuma of Old Dominion are high upside prospects that have a ton of athletic skill, but just need the reps to realize it. Expect them to start off on special team and be studs there first before getting an opportunity on the field. TJ Vasher of Texas Tech legitimately looked like the tallest guy out there on the field in every game he played in and has a lot of potential as a high volume red zone target in the NFL. And as we round out these rankings, Canadian prospect Dylan St. Pierre from the Ottawa GGs has experience in playing on all special teams units, in addition to being a really solid option in the passing game, especially inside the red zone. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan Scouting. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating. That's where you can find our Scout Team podcast, and keep it locked every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Game Plus Network for our Scout Team show, where we will have a lot more of NFL and CFL draft related content coming down the pike.